Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 192. I'm your host as always, I'm Dan, joined by my co-host as always, it's Samson. How you doing? I like your Mateo t-shirt that you're wearing.
Waka waka. Yeah, Mateo 311, friend of the show. We got to get him back on, again. We saw him at PAX, and that was a good time. And I'm doing pretty good. It's real hot, and there's a triple sweat challenge going on that we'll get into in a little bit. And boy, oh boy, was today and tomorrow I am going to be triple sweating.
Yeah, I mean, I do really appreciate the AC in the building and in my apartment, I'm not going to lie. Every time this has happened, the last 3 summers that we've done this now, 2 summers, 3 summers, it's been tough. It's been tough to play VR. I just can't, but it'd be even more tough to record a podcast because I couldn't turn the AC on I had in my room. I had to turn it off because it was too loud. And
that's brutal.
I'm in luxury now. I'm very appreciative. Very, very appreciative.
Honestly, the winter was brutal because I was like, oh, oil is expensive. But, Dan, we opened the pool a little over a month ago.
Nice.
And the AC's been on because of this heat wave lately. And let me tell you, my electric bill was not
happy. Yeah, not happy. Never mind the electric bill. Let's talk a bit about VR. We have a jam-packed show today. The MetaQuest 3S Xbox edition has been announced, or potentially been announced. We're recording this one day before the main announcement that comes, so we're assuming it's been announced. Walkabout Crystal Lair dropped, and we have our full impressions. We've been playing the game for about a week, or the DLC rather, and that's coming out as of release of this podcast. So, or the day before, and if you're a Patreon, it's just released right now. If you're not a Patreon, it came out yesterday. You should have got it already. So none of this should be spoilers because you should have played it.
Facts with us.
Exactly.
In
the Discord, exactly. So yeah, we have tons. We have a bunch of news as well. We've been playing a few other games that we want to talk about as well. But Samson, let's go off. You just mentioned the Discord there. You've got the links in the description. As everyone knows, it's totally free to join. I think a few people joined today, actually.
Come on down.
Samson, we've got a few things going on. We've got obviously Walkabout Thursdays that we talk about. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern that you can come and play.
Housekeeping.
The Thursday, which would have been yesterday for most people listening to this podcast, we would have played the newest course, Crystal Lair. So even if you don't have it, Guest Pass works. We've also got the Walkabout tournament as well. We'll be week 3 when you're listening to this, but we just had week 2. But as the time of recording this, we don't know any results for that, so we can't read those ones out.
We don't have the results, but we do know with the new course out that Healing Entree is going to include either the easy or the hard mode. So come on down Thursday and at least get one of the courses knocked out.
I'm thinking he's going to do easy. To be honest.
You know what? Just to be devil's advocate, I think
sure.
I think hard.
Sure.
Hard.
Why not? Patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus, which I'm about to say the Gmail, but that is the correct URL just then. If you want to support us, $1, $5 if you want to listen to the show a day early as well and get that little Patreon symbol in the Discord channel as well. Samson, they're green. They're green, yeah. There's also a Fitness in VR channel, a brand new one that you've just added. Can you talk to the people about this new channel?
Brand new old one, because we used to have the fitness channel in the old Discord, and I needed to bring it back for this because I saw that there's 3 games out there, Synth Riders, Racket Club, and Pistol Whip. They've combined. That's why it's Triple Sweat. Get it?
Triple Sweat.
They've combined to do a 30-day challenge. So each day is a different game. It runs on a Synth Riders, Racket Club, Pistol Whip rotation. Mm-hmm. And it started a couple days ago, depending what day you're listening to this. It could be day 6, day 7. But if you are listening to this on day of release, I believe that's day 6, which would be a Pistol Whip day. because day one was Synth Riders. But if it was all confusing, Dan, but if you want to map a whole picture of the calendar, come on down to the Discord because we've got it there. And me, Baru Monkey, and Parody have been really them two have been taking part every day. But I think we decided to mix in some Beatsaber in replacement of Racket Club because as much as we like Racket Club, honestly, I don't have the time to just to get outside. I like to play outside. It's heat wave. Timing, it's tough.
Fair
so
enough.
It's a game you got to play with friends, right? I mean, you can play with the bots, but we'd rather Beatsaber anyway. Pistol Whip, and of course, Dan, my favorite, Synth Riders, and they took the lead. They took number 1 spot on that Synth Riders of the Discord on day 1.
Nice.
In force mode, it was tonight's hard force mode. Dan, force mode not my thing.
No, I don't think I've played force mode.
It's tough. You gotta kind of just flick your wrists through the notes. You gotta make sure you're moving through the note.
Right. Is it to do with your power, basically?
Yeah, but you don't necessarily want to be punching. That you just need to make sure your hand
you're not
is
just touching
moving through it. Yeah,
I got it. Fair play. Very good. Okay, so we're on day 6 by the time everyone's listening to this.
I believe so.
7 more days to go, if maths serves.
No. It's a 30-day challenge, Dan.
Oh, okay.
I clipped the calendar, so
the calendar in our script is 14 days. Okay, got it. 30-day challenge. Nice one. Normally I have comments, but no comments this week. But however, you can send us a comment on Spotify, letstalkoculus @gmail.com. There's a questions channel in the Discord that you can also jump ahead. Samson, let's get into the VR news because we have quite a few things to talk about.
Let's do it.
The biggest news of the week, MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition has been leaked and announced. It's going to be black, 128 gigabyte MetaQuest 3S, not the 3, just the 3S, which includes an Xbox controller in the box, a black elite strap, 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for $400. That's $100 more than the Quest 3S, but $100 less than if you were to buy everything separately. Now, current reports, so we're recording this a day earlier than the actual announcement, seems like there might not be touch controllers included, but to me that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, I think they'll be in there.
I think they'll be in there as well. I think you'll get black touch controllers. I wonder if they'll have the color scheme as the Xbox with the colored face buttons. That would be a neat touch. I don't know if they're going that far with it, to be honest. It might just be
that would be cool. Versions. That'd be a cool little touch.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into this, Samson, one thing with the name, I understand that the name is MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition, but it looks so much like the Xbox Elite. And I wish it was called the MetaQuest 3S Elite, because the Elite, for those who maybe don't know, when the Xbox 360 was a thing, it was in silver or gray, and then they came out with the black edition, which was called the Elite, which had extra stuff. I had a Wi-Fi adapter packed in. It had 120 gig hard drive and all that stuff. It was a pretty not an upgrade, but a cool bundle that came included, kind of like this as well. Same color scheme, obviously, the black and green, and yeah, calling it the MetaQuest 3S would be Elite would be really cool, but I understand Xbox Edition makes a bit more sense for 2025's eyes and ears. Samson, what do you think about this?
And who do you think this is for? Because that's my number one question.
That's a good question.
I saw this.
That's a good question. I don't know.
It is cool. It looks cool. Love the idea of it. I don't think I could go back to the Quest 2 lenses regularly. I do love that it comes with the Elite strap. That's a nice little touch. And I guess, do you think there's people out there that will see this and get it to play Xbox?
I think there are some people for sure. I've not done the cloud streaming for a while, but I have heard that it's been very much improved as well. It's still cloud streaming, so your mileage might vary, but
I guess I gotta go back and try it then.
You should, yeah. I should as well. It's been a while. When I tried it, I couldn't really get it to work, but I was in and my internet wasn't great in my last place, so it might have been that. And I've had issues with my Quest, big screen and all that stuff. So now that's all sorted. Maybe it's going to work better now. Anyone can do this.
I could see like the cool kid getting this one and then being like, hey, I've been playing Xbox on my Quest 3. And then other people being like, oh, cool, I'll go get a normal Quest 3. I don't know. But I do see, I'd love to be a collector with this. But I wouldn't like to be a collector with this who'd spent $400 on it.
It's quite expensive too, yeah. Especially, that's why it doesn't make any sense to have no touch controllers, because then you're just paying for basically a streaming device and cloud streaming device, which are way cheaper than $400. It doesn't make any sense.
With the price, I feel like they got to be there.
If they don't put the touch controllers in, it'll be a massive mistake. And by the time you're listening to this, you already know. And I'm like 99% sure the touch controller is going to be inside the box, because it just doesn't make any sense. I like that it comes with the Elite strap, so it's a bit more comfortable. Hopefully that might be the case moving forward, like Quest 4, that it will just include the Elite strap potentially. There might be the times for that, but who's it for? I don't know, to be honest.
And how many do you think there will be?
I don't think there'll be too many. It's a kind of a specialty niche. It's a niche of a niche, I like that it comes with the controller in the box. That's kind of fun. I'm interested to see what the box looks like and those kind of things. But it's not. I understand why they went 3S because of price point, like selling the Quest 3, but it doesn't. It's a weird one because you really want the Quest 3 is the hardware, right? It's the lenses that look sharp as well. But alas, you're probably buying this because you want to play it more.
But then it would have been
streaming.
Like a 600 device,
right? Right, which doesn't make any sense. But it'll be a black Quest 3, which will be cool.
No doubt.
It would be cool. It's kind of funny. Like last week's podcast, Samson, you mentioned this. You're like, it's still not coming. I think you said that everyone's forgotten apart from me. I think that was your exact words. And lo and behold, a week later, they didn't forget.
It does. I do feel like people are acting like this is new news, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like
people probably did forget too. No, people probably did forget too. I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see what the box is when you open it and how it's packaged and all that stuff. But it's a weird one. It's like it's one of those things that would be cool at launch or like close to launch of the Quest 3S. It's like you can get a Quest 3S and you can also get the Xbox edition if you're into that. And I think it would have sold quite a lot. I think at this point, I don't know. I'm not too sure.
Well, it's going to be shown off at some gaming showcase going on this week, right? Something's going on, right?
I have no idea. What's going on.
Seems like lots going on.
It's summertime. I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm curious to see how well this does. I think it might be more of an experiment or just a fun little marketing collaboration because they're like, we can do something like that rather than like really pushing this. I think it's just a fun little thing that they could do, and they announced it and they're like, maybe everyone's saying we don't follow up on some of our announcements like San Andreas, so we can do this one. It's relatively cheap to do, different color 100%. Paint, let's just throw this in and go from there.
I don't feel like any of the special edition consoles are for everybody ever.
No.
Right? Now that I think of it, it's like they're always for that, like, it's super niche, right? Like,
right.
You know what, Dan? I had the Star Wars PlayStation 4.
Oh, the one with the Darth Vader on the...
Yeah, it had Darth Vader on it.
The shiny part, right?
It was very cool.
That was a cool one. The controller was cool, too.
Because I got into PlayStation 4 pretty late. So it was like when...
Yeah.
So, like, if you were now getting into VR, I get going to buy this one, right? Like, if you're going... If you're interested in getting into the platform, right? I could see these selling for Christmas time. Like, right? Like, because I could see people getting this for gifts, right? Like, you're like, oh, little Timmy said he wanted an Xbox. MetaQuest is an Xbox.
And he doesn't need to hug the TV.
It's literally the cheapest Xbox.
Right? It is now, it is now that they've... Well, now everything's an Xbox. The Fire Stick's technically...
I was gonna say like the Roku or whatever. Maybe it's an Xbox now.
But then you need the TV. This comes with the TV packed in.
Yeah.
You know,
it might be the cheapest way to play Xbox, like at the best way. You understand? Like you gotta, if you're willing to make some compromises.
It's not gonna have
all
this.
The compromises.
It's not gonna have this, but I really wish there was like an Xbox UI associated with this. Like because you've got this version, the UI looks a little bit different, and it's more focused on when you boot in. You've got the game streaming right in front of you. And then you can go and do other stuff. It's not. They're not going to do that. It's going to be a basic standard Quest 3S with a paint job.
It'd be cool with its own like home environment that was real like Xbox. That's what I mean. Or something.
Yeah. That'll be cool. And also when you boot in the Game Pass, the Xbox app's already pre-installed.
Yeah,
that makes a lot. I mean, that could happen. That's not too much work.
Yeah,
it's not like a whole UI change or anything like that. But it's not too much work. I need to try this again because like the fact that they're doing this now, it must be quite easy to do. Like if you go into the app, it must be easy to just, play the game that you want and such. Because last time it was just, you jump in and you got to wait a long time for
any Game Pass game, if you're not like a high tier and you're trying to play a big game, you're playing at a peak time, you're going to probably be waiting as far as...
that's true. But I don't know if this is the thing with this Xbox stuff, and this is more of an Xbox problem than Meta problem, but they're slapping this is an Xbox on everything, and some people are probably assuming that, if I buy this, I can just play these games like straight away, and it's as a native as an Xbox, fair. But it really isn't.
I mean, Dan, how many games can you even buy physically or buy in the digital store and immediately play, right?
That's true.
You gotta always wait.
Yeah, that's true.
Ultimately, what I would really want, though, is for you to play like PC VR via the Quest and the Xbox. That type of, sync up would be pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. So if you had an actual Xbox, you could just like do a more of a... What's it called? An ad hoc connection and such, where it's you using the local Wi-Fi rather than having to boost your server's basically the Xbox rather than like a remote version of that, like a remote play in a sense. Yeah, for sure. Very good. Let us know if anyone does pick this one up. I'm assuming we're not going to pick this one up because I feel like that's Quest 4 money right there. or potentially Steam Deck money or so.
What I could see myself doing, so Dan, I'm getting that Quest 3S from the signing up for cable.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to be getting that semi soon. I had to get I had to be 65 days and then I have to ask for it. And then it said, I realized the fine print said while supplies last. Oh. And I literally got in the last day. So we'll see if supplies lasted. But if I could get that and flip that, and then just pretty much be the same amount of money, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah. If you could try, or just try and, like lower the cost big time. And then you can have like a little collector's thing, potentially.
We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, that's coming soon. The Xbox controller packaging just looks like a standard black one, with there's a little picture in the top right corner of the box and such. But yeah. That's all we know for now. You'll probably know a bit more because it will be announced by the time you listen to this, but I think there's not much else to tell, to be honest, unless there's a cool UI or anything like that. And when it comes out too, like when does this come out? Do they release this like now, or is this more of like they're going to pair this with something later on? Like,
well, Dan, we don't need to speculate because everybody knows already.
That's true. Roger that. Next news story, Third of the Fight 2, which is currently in early access, has got its next big update. There's updates for casual matches and a new venue. The new venue is like a hotel venue. The casual matches are like non-ranked multiplayer matches, and there's like some fixes in terms of like the referees can now penalize you if you turn away or put your head down too much. So if you try and protect all the time, that's
break it up, give them some space.
there we go. It's like it's quite a big update since the early access came last November, I want to say, or last October, but still no idea when the full release will come. Samson, have you tried this at all?
Let it cook. Yeah, I've tried this before. Yeah, Noble Squashy beat me in a couple rounds. This game messes me up, dude. I am not a boxer. I don't know how to fight. And in specifically in VR boxing, I tend to overextend.
Yeah.
And I'm just not in good shape, and so my back's all messed up for like a few days after I played, and I'm out of breath. It's hard to even finish a whole 3 rounds for me.
Yeah.
My God, it's good. It's a good game.
Yeah. So your shoulders are destroyed afterwards, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, if you're in better shape than me, you probably have less, of these effects.
You gotta get your stretches in before you do this.
You gotta stretch, and if you're somebody who's like pretty active or like actually boxes or like does this type of physical exertion, yeah, I think you'll have better luck.
Yeah,
but I'm not too interested in like playing random people, and I'm not too interested in even boxing people I know. Apparently, because I don't really do it. If I could see, I would like this as a game to show off VR to people.
Right.
That's when I would like to get most in, when I can beat up somebody who's never played VR before.
I see what you're saying.
And just then that's what it feels like,
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't really want to get into this until the game actually fully comes out, because I'm waiting for the more single player
campaign, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a full campaign in the first game, and it was really fun to do and go through. Very simple, but just really good. And yeah, so I'm kind of waiting for that, to be honest. So
I will say, Dan, the mixed reality is chef's kiss. Like, it's perfect for this game. Like, if I play out in the driveway, it feels like I've got a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Somebody just set it up. That's there cool. In the driveway.
Yeah, in my new apartment, it's kind of shaped a little bit weird, where I feel like I don't have a full on. Maybe in the living room, I can beat some people up. Maybe.
You can set it up where you can always face the same way, I believe.
Yeah. It's really good when it comes to the spacing. You can just set up your little perimeter, and it will just stay between there, which is really great. And it was one of the best things about the original game as well. Next news story: I Am a Cat now as multiplayer. I kind of mentioned this because I've talked about this on the show like a couple of weeks ago, but the multiplayer is massive. You can connect with 19 other cats. 19 other players.
What a odd number.
Well, okay. No, it'd be 20 total, because you and 19 others.
Okay.
Feels a bit better. Maybe I said that a little silly. But it's going to be in a pirate-themed map. You can cause mayhem. There are snowball fights, medieval weapons, a piano, a kitchen to cook, and a bunch of other mini-game challenges. I'm not going to lie, this sounds hilarious.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and I do tend to like silly multiplayer sandbox experiences.
There you go.
But we'll see. I absolutely do not want to hop in with a bunch of little children. So
there will be. That is the crowd.
This would be a fun Discord hangout potentially. I'd love to throw some snowballs at you,
right,
Dave.
Just keep naming every.
I'd love Noble Squashy to play piano.
Yeah.
Play us a song, you're the squashy man. Play us a song tonight.
All right, I Am Cat Discord group. We'll have to organize that soon then. Very good. And then final quick news story. I've kind of gone through these quickly because obviously the show is about Walkabout. We do need to quickly mention that Beatsaber is ending PSVR2 support, which was a big shock. They came out saying that they're ending support for the PlayStation, and we all assume that would be PSVR1, but they also said PSVR2. They say, as we look into the future and plan the next big leap for Beatsaber, we've made the decision to no longer release updates for PS4 and PS5 starting in June 2025. So starting now, it's over. I think the Lady Gaga Abracadabra was probably the last DLC.
But you can do multiplayer till January, I believe.
Nice. Okay, so multiplayer is stopping too. I didn't know that. I thought it was they're stopping like just extra DLCs. I didn't know if it was multiplayer as well, but I guess so. Samson, this is a real shame. Right. I don't think it has any reflection on the PSVR 2 platform. I think it's more to do with the Beatsaber team kind of just managing resources, and probably it's obviously Meta who own them, right? And they're probably saving some costs and such, and they're probably looked at like what's the worst performing platform, and it'd be PlayStation, and be like, okay, let's cut that and we can save a buck and such. Because I saw
it's always on top of the charts. I think this is more like Meta just being like, I imagine
some exclusivity.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. And they can't cut Steam because that's where everybody plays. I feel like for the mods and all that, right?
Yeah,
nobody's really playing on the Meta Link.
I wonder if they cut this and then bring it to Apple Vision Pro now that it has controller support with PSVR2 controllers.
That'd be wild, Dan.
That'd be funny.
That'd be wild.
That'd be hilarious, actually.
There's no way.
No, there's no way. I don't think so either, but that'd be funny. They've cut it from the main platform of PSVR2 and put it on the platform that supports those controllers.
I would be shocked.
Me too.
If Beat Saber came to Apple.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely shocked.
Me too.
Especially after this. But yeah, this seems more like just Meta wanting an exclusive, I feel. But also, like, maybe they are moving on to the next thing, so...
Maybe they've been doing Beat Saber for ages, so maybe the Beat Saber.
But I feel like Beat Saber is forever. Like, I feel like you can just always have a small team doing DLCs forever, right? And then whatever. Like, I feel like a lot of the people that were at Beat Games originally sort of already moved on.
Potentially,
but, if you want to make other games, you go elsewhere, right? Like, and then, or Beat Games sort of expands into doing other things, but you always have like a small team on that. I don't know. It seems like a forever game.
It does feel like a forever game.
Maybe you just want to give it up, but like, I don't know.
It's not slowing down.
What's a similar game? Like, I guess Guitar Hero eventually they stopped, right?
Yeah, but that was really a bit. That was Guitar Hero was never like a always on the top of the charts kind of thing. It's kind of like GTA 5. Like that could easily be a forever game if they wanted, for a long time with the online. If they wanted, they're always selling out. So yeah, I'm not too sure, but I mean, I didn't put this in the news stories, but Onward's developers are they're kind of stopped support for Onward moving forward, and they've joined with Camouflage, like all the teams. So it's good that they didn't get laid off, but they're merged into Camouflage, who made Batman Arkham Shadows. So more resources are going into whatever Camouflage next project is going to be. And stuff like Onward are just like slowly not dying.
It did get like their 2.0 release. So.
Yeah. It's the start of the ending in a way. Start of the ending. Sweet. All right, that will do for part 1. That is the VR news. And part 2, we will give you a Walkabout Crystal Lair impressions. So we'll see you in part 2.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic. Feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part 2 of episode 192, the MetaQuest 3S Xbox edition. We've talked about that. Now we move on to the second part, and that is Walkabout Crystal Lair impressions. Just before we started the show, Samson asked, is there music in this? There's definitely music in this. It's more of like a gong in this. It's like very subtle. It's like a gong, and it does go straight into your temples, and it's kind of like hypnotizing. To be honest, I
had it at 35 or 40%, and I wasn't really hearing anything, so I turned it up, and then I was like, "There's something there," but I can't. And then I was like, "All right, I guess."
It's a very eerie course, but let's talk about it. So this is I don't know how many courses there are in Walkabout. I've totally forgot the number, but they have a lot. They have a lot of courses. Crystal Lair is the 4th course in the Lairs series. We have Laser, Ice, 8-bit, and now we have Crystal Lair. Samson, let's start with you. What are we'll go through like a bunch of stuff. We'll go through our initial thoughts first and then break it down and then go through our overall thoughts. But what was your initial thoughts? Like when you first maybe picked up the game, played it for the first time, what was your initial thoughts?
I understand what initial thoughts.
Just checking.
It was quite beautiful spa retreat. I've been on a retreat once, and it kind of felt like that. The one I went on though was in like upstate New York and not on a nice mountainside. But the elevator ride nice, a little nicer on the day course stand because at night I felt a little claustrophobic.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine that elevator with like a full lobby. It's gonna be tight.
I see.
Tight in that little triangle.
Yes, the elevator itself. So you start off in an elevator, kind of like if you're thinking of the Around the World in 80 Days elevator and such, those kind of things. Jules Verne, the other one. What was the other one?
Atlantis, or not Atlantis, the one that was underwater.
Yeah, I forgot what it was called.
20,000 Leagues.
20,000 Leagues, that also, not an elevator, but obviously a little submarine. It's a kind of similar kind of start, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. The mechanic of the crystals. So the crystals have a little gravity orb around them, and the crystal orb themselves is bouncy. So the gravity will get pulled in, and then it'll bounce out. And sometimes it'll bounce out and bounce back in, and you'll be bouncing a lot on one shot, Dan. And it can go in some bonkers ways. And I do appreciate on easy mode, there's essentially no falling off. There's there's very high walls. I did manage to fall off once, but it was a very unique experience.
Yeah.
So that sort of allows you to take more risks, I'd say, in the easy mode in very fun ways. And those are my initial thoughts. What were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, well, the elevator intro, I love that. So you were like, it's quite beautiful, and it is, but I found it more on the eerie side, with this Lair. Like with 8-bit, for example, you had the boss ice Lair, you had the puffins. The laser kind of has the school fair going on. Is a bit more similar to laser in a way. This one, it feels like you're visiting after hours and everyone's gone or dead, used to say.
I think it would have a different vibe for you if you were there with anybody else.
That's true. I was just playing on my own. So it's all quiet. The music's tranquil. It has a lot of environmental storytelling, just like the other LRs. The mechanic is kind of tough to master, and it's quite unpredictable at times. But I have a really good time with it. I really like when you do get it just right and you kind of understand the gravity. It's a bit like the Angry Birds like the Star Wars Angry Birds when they had gravity with the planets and such. It kind of gives me that kind of vibes. Like you got to think of the arc and such of how it turns around.
Specifically because there are times where you have to kind of get it to go around and you want it to bounce on the opposite side, right? Like 3/4 of the way around. But you can't just hit it there.
No.
And so you're trying to hit it into the orbit.
And you have to give it the right amount of velocity to make it turn. It's really cool when you do get it right. But yeah, that was my initial thoughts. So I actually, with the scores, I think I had +8 on the easy, and I had even on the hard. So
you learned.
Yeah, the easy, I was like, oh my gosh. But then the hard, I think the hard almost forces you to learn as well, because there are like the lack of barriers.
Fall off. Yeah,
so can fall off. It's like you're really thinking about, okay, where am I going to go and where what's going to happen.
See, I found myself on hard mode just avoiding a lot of them.
Yeah, you can avoid a bunch of them, to be fair. Let's talk about the environment before we get into the actual proper mechanics of the magnetic crystals. Then the environment itself, to me, I feel like it's one of those where because of the way the course is kind of shaped and the whole eeriness of this spa, you kind of want to explore every nook and cranny of it. Like it's also a little bit of a maze in a way. Like I found so many times not realizing how to get down to the last floor and having to just jump on the hole. And I still can't find the stairs. And then I realized just last second, just before we went on the show, because I was doing the Fox hunt, is that you have to go all the way down to where the tanning beds are, shall we say, or like the beds are, and there's stairs that goes down.
I'm realizing I only ever pulled the trigger.
Right, that's what I did, but then when I was in the fox hunt, I was like, I really need to walk around here to try and find, because I got stuck on a few, and we'll talk about the fox hunt in a moment. But yeah, it really wants you to explore everything, because there's loads of stuff going on, and like we said, it's essentially a spa resort, but a very overpriced one. They feel like they need to charge you for everything.
Over the top.
Like you have to go climbing, and it costs like $39, but then when you come back down, you have to pay $150 for that experience, and then you get a t-shirt, which is another $30, something like that. It's quite funny in the fox hunt, but yeah.
Did you feel like you were high up?
I know you are, but I don't think I felt too much like that, apart from going to the furthest point where that kind of like those kind of beds are, in a way, or the yoga. I think it's the yoga area. That's the only time where I felt quite high up. But apart from that, I actually didn't feel it. Felt more high up in something like Seagull Stacks and such.
Yeah. Same. I feel the same. I didn't really feel like that sense of scared of heights like you do in some of the others.
Right. Any thoughts on the environment?
Well, I appreciated the, over the top sarcasm of all the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I enjoyed it to an extent. I didn't really explore around necessarily. I didn't read all the signs.
Yeah, fair.
I was mostly focused on my golf game.
Mostly focused on I guess that's the thing when it's like when you're doing the fox hunt and such, you're looking for.
Yeah, everything. So I did get stuck on the fourth one, looking for some thrones. But you've helped me out, so I'll get back in there and I'll find it for hopefully for Thursday.
Yeah,
and I did find all the balls, so they weren't too hard. Yeah, I had sort of like I just started like flying around. I'm like, I feel like a ball will be over here. Oh yeah, and I felt like that happened like 5-6 times. Yeah,
I think I only found like 4 or 5 balls. I'm just not good at finding the. I'm the fox hunt's more my jam. But in terms of, did you have a favorite ball that you wanted to shout out whilst we're on the ball topic?
Whilst we're on the topic, well, there was a sort of like purpley stylized line, nice wavy lines.
It's like the gravity kind of lines, I think. Yeah,
exactly.
The Ivory Coast slash
and the
Irish.
the Ivory Coast. The Ivory Coast stuff.
Ivory Coast ball / Irish ball, depending on which way you're hitting it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I like the one. I found that one as well, but I also found the one where it's like blue and just has the crystal logo like stamped across over and over again. I think that was my favorite one out of those. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, they're the actual balls. I mean, we'll talk about, still get onto that fox hunt in a moment, but we have to talk about the mechanics of the magnetic crystals. So, like I said, I think it can be very challenging on hard for sure, and you really have to figure that physics out, otherwise it's going to kick you off. But I'm going through like all the layers. Laser layer was about timing, right? You just had to kind of wait for the spot and kind of get it right. The ice one, I think, is more about touch and feel. With the friction. 8-bit layer was kind of more on the trick shot side of things, the way you need to like bounce it off sides and such to try and hit the right markers. And then this one, to me, makes you feel like a physicist, like judging the gravitational pull and such. Like, to me, this one's science. This is what this one's all about.
I just go with my gut.
Yeah. Fair enough. I have
like this feels
really
right.
Thinking about it. Really thinking about each shot with the hard mode.
Dan, hole-in-ones feel really good. I've gotten several of them, and when you get a hole-in-one, you're like, oh, that was the exact, and they always got to bounce off of something. I'm gonna say one of my favorite holes. I don't know. Is this too early? Okay,
go for it.
So there's one that it's an L shape. And it's got the crystal ball in a little gap at the sort of at the bend, right? So if you hit it just perfectly so it gets sucked in, it'll spit it out and get it into the hole-in-one. That's
very satisfying. And you can do this. I've got the hole-in-one on that one on easy and hard. Like on hard, on hard, if you the hard, instead of it being in that little nook, it's basically at the end of the L, one of the parts of the L. It's hard to describe, to be honest. Basically at the end of one side before you have to take a harsh right turn. And if you get it onto the right side, it will hit the side of the like course and go straight in. At least that happened twice for me, but I don't know if I just hit the right spot twice.
I was afraid to use the orb on that one on hard mode.
Yeah, fair. I use the orb. So the orbs, I don't know if we'd explained properly. So they has the gravitational pull, but when the ball hits the crystal orb, it smashes out of it. Like it forces it the other way big time.
With more
force,
how
more
much
speed.
For yeah, like even if it's going slow, it'll hit it a good amount
and go flying. It feels like even if you hit it really hard, it's still going to go the same amount. Like I don't know if the velocity.
No, if you hit it hard and you don't really use the gravity's pull, like you just go, it'll
really launch it. Fair. Yeah, fair enough. But and the holes that get really tricky are the like in hard mode, especially where there's one hole where there's literally 3 of them in a row. And there's only one gap to hit it in, but it seems like there's a gap in between the gravity to try and get through, but you got to kind of try and get it looping around. But then here's the thing, right? Because it hits it so hard, sometimes it hits it so hard and goes back into the gravitational pull, and it happens over and over again. Sometimes you get caught in the gravitational and it keeps on happening. I mean, you showed me a video, Samson, of you getting a hole-in-one, which took probably about 5 minutes.
I mean, it literally took, I think, 25 to 35 seconds, somewhere in that range.
That's mad. You just had to, it kept bouncing over and over again, right?
I was about to start recording because I thought it was a bug. I was like, oh, it's not supposed to be doing this. Right. And then eventually it just went in. And I was like, that bug worked.
Yeah, absolutely. That is quite funny how it works like that.
But this thing on race mode, Dan, my goodness.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't tried it in race mode yet.
Me neither. I can't imagine that we're going to have to.
That's a fun one. Yeah. But overall, like in terms of the actual mechanic, I think this one's actually a really cool one.
Also simultaneous mode. So that's going to be crazy.
I guess you only see your ball maybe potentially, or you're going to see everything. Yeah, you're probably going to see everything. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. I think with this one as well, I really like the mechanic, but I was just thinking to Mighty Coconut, I was like, how long did this take to test? Because I feel like it would have taken a long time to try and test, get the orbs in the right places as well. Oh, yeah. You know, to make it even possible to put around them and such, like making the gravitational a certain distance as well. Like, I think this one would have taken a while to and a lot of physics involved.
Yeah, I wonder how long it's been cooking, yeah.
Yeah, this one might have taken a while. Course design, Samson. What do you think of the course design? I mean, you've already said one of your favorite holes was the L-shaped. In general, did you like the course design, or did you find it really tricky? You're going.
Overall, I love it. Like it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. You know, it felt good, and I like that. It's not overly challenging, I feel. Right? I feel like my first playthrough, I was under par on this easy mode. Hard mode aside. And that dopamine hit when you nail how you're like, oh, this is where I wanted to hit on that crystal. Right. And I'm going to hit it. So it goes boop. And then it actually hits that spot and goes in. It just was such a rush. Yeah, it's so satisfying. It feels so good. It's I don't want to say it's as I'm like, I've been asking for a weird course, right? It's not quite as weird as weird gets, right? But it does feel like it's a little bit of like an RNG, right? Like I do feel like it adds if you're obviously there's a meta for every course, right? Like eventually there's going to be like a best shot pretty much for each hole. But I do feel like this one adds in a bit of randomness where you could kind of just like play anyone, and like you could kind of on the easy course get like a new person in, and they could kind of really get it. I'd say, they'd be like, "Oh, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And they'd probably have a difficult time.
But they'd understand. Accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a Meow Wolf or anything like that. It feels like a Lair. To me, it just feels like a Lair. Like it fits. The Lairs are like, they're like bit of crazy golf. I like the Lairs too. Like the Lairs have got a cool little like design philosophy behind them.
Yeah,
like,
they all get a weird thing.
They all have something weird, but it's not gimmicky or anything like, or not too gimmicky or anything. It's kind of like right in the middle between.
Yeah, the ice can be gimmicky.
It can, but it's still right in the middle to me compared to like an Upside Down and in a good way, a Meow Wolf. I feel like that's your like extreme.
It's not those. Yeah.
No, it's not those. It's right in the middle between that and like an Alfheim and such. Like it's right in the middle. Yeah, I like the Lairs too. Let's talk about the Fox Hunt. The Fox Hunt, obviously you're stuck on clue number 3 or 4, and that took me a while too. So I finished the Fox Hunt. It took me a while to do, and we delayed this podcast a little bit because I was stuck on the last clue for ages. Even though once I found it, it was very obvious. But it was. I found it very stuck in a few times. Like these little crystals which have like a little price tag on them, so it seems like a crystal that you can buy from a shop, shall we say? And you need to find obviously where they are, and a lot of the clues are just go to this area and you'll find it. Exactly. But some of the stuff is like, okay, where is that area? For example, one of the clues was to go to the recharge, restoration, sound bath kind of thing, and you know where that is when you're playing the course. And I went straight to the gong. I was like, oh, obviously this is the gong because it's telling you just to sit and listen, and it's going to the gong. Went to the gong, did not see it. Looked everywhere, could not find it. Then left and went everywhere, and then turned the headset off and came back to it later and went everywhere again. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I swear it's got to be here. Lo and behold, it was there, and I was just not looking. Like it was just below me, and I was just like, it's one of those things that, it's. And like, I think I won't spoil any more, but like one of them was fairly hidden as well. Like it wasn't just there. Where sometimes they're just like Fox Hunt clues, they're just on top and such. Once you get there, yeah. But one of them was like, oh, it's not. I was like looking for ages, and I was like, oh, it is actually tucked away and such. So, yeah. But I wouldn't spoil like any of the clues further. But in terms of the putter. For those of you, if you want to skip ahead 30 seconds here, if you're not interested to hearing what it is, but there's your warning. The putter is essentially very similar to the upside down putter, where it's a very traditional kind of looking putter, but then it has a cool shaft design where in the upside down, the shaft is like the crane, and then it's got like some like space between that and the actual head of the shaft, where this one is just like a few like a long crystal, like a really thin long crystal. It looks really nice. Has a crystal on the top and like a leaf or so like coming from the back of it. The colors are a little bit more brown and mute. I wish the colors were a little bit more vivid, shall we say. That's the only thing I would say about it, but I can see this one being something that I'd use often because I actually kind of like the traditional kind of looking ones. So yeah, this is still, I think Upside Down is still my go-to putter right now, which I've been playing for like quite a long time. But yeah, I'll give this one a shot.
Very good.
It's nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the actual course. Overall thoughts, Samson, just to round this little bit off?
Yep. Played through the easy twice, hard mode once, so these are very early impressions.
Yeah,
pretty good challenge on hard with the no walls. The easy mode I did enjoy, had fun round with, and there's some moments in the easy mode in particular where you're like, "Fuck it, I'm just going for it. I'm gonna try this," and it'll just ping, 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 ping around, and you just go with what you get. If I had to rank all the layers for how much I enjoy golfing on them, probably be Ice Lair, Crystal Lair, Laser Lair, 8-Bit Lair right now. We'll see. That's definitely due to change very early on. I do think Laser Lair is my favorite lair for being a lair, though, because I do love the Bond vibe.
I think my Ice Lair is my favorite one, but then when we talked at Christmas time, I probably said different. I probably put 8-bit Lair. It's like one of those, right? It's like sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. But playing them often, I think I'm going to Ice Lair more, and I love the puffins. And I have the little like plastic 3D printed puffins that they have
I do wish I had puffins
behind me. And yeah, I do really like the puffins, and I think that's what edges it. But yeah, I would be in agreement in terms of golfing. Ice Lair, Crystal Lair, Laser Lair, 8-bit Lair for sure.
I could definitely see Laser Lair jumping over Crystal Lair.
Yeah.
But right now I'm liking this new mechanic a little bit more than the getting sliced in half. Now, Dan, I do want to say, because there's an employee mode, right? And so employee mode is underneath the hut in Welcome Island. You can go, and there are a bunch of doors that you can find in the hard mode of courses, and there's a little, there's some little mini games you can play in some of the courses. And this one is a tourist trap, Dan. And let me tell you, I looked all over for many, many minutes looking for a door, and there are not very many flat surfaces in tourist trap. Big enough large enough for a door. I looked all over. I went through and through. I'm just like, I can't tell what's going on. But I remember Dave told me there's a clue sort of in the Unwelcome Island
area.
Or whatever. And so I look in there. I'm like, all right, I can tell it's like a bulkhead. Not to spoil it, but to spoil it. And so I'm like, all right, so now I'm looking for a bulkhead, but I don't really that didn't really help me out much. So Dave eventually showed me where it was. I won't disclose it yet, but if you find this without help, I'm impressed. You get come on down to the Discord, and I'll give you some praise, because that was my God, Dan.
Yeah.
It was
when you sent me the screenshot, I couldn't believe
crazy. But it also, as I said, there seems to be, usually the mini games aren't in our press builds because they're probably still testing it and finalizing it. But there's a reminder poster, and it says unauthorized treasure recovery is prohibited during work hours. This includes cursed doubloons. So this might be a treasure hunt of sorts being added in.
With balloons.
Well, doubloons.
Oh, the
balloons.
Fair enough.
I don't know. It's like double, but then also has loons.
Whatever that word means. Very good. And there's more, Samson. So we've gone through the course.
But wait, there's more. Okay, Billy more. Mays.
You've obviously got the limited time Crystal Lair Welcome Island decor, which is they kind of do on every course. So you've got some crystals all in the Welcome Island. There's a new magnetic crystal mechanic with crystals on the practice greens to try first.
I did see that.
You now have 11 course associated fabulous avatar cosmetics that you can have. It's out on iOS and VR at the same time. And also, there's a new Walkabout wristwatch update. So it's designed for accessibility and utility. Essentially, when you look down at your wrist now, there's a visual cursor. So your head turns into a cursor that you can use, and then you can just use the trigger button to select. There's a quick mute, so you can mute yourself really quickly. They say if you sneeze or have to take a call or something, you can just mute yourself. There's the current player name appears on there. You've got a mighty magnifier, which you can magnify essentially for accessibility settings. You've got an activity-aware UI, which with the growing list of fox hunts, slingshots, and more, players can now reference it for status, clues, and even select collectibles. For example, you can turn off fox hunt off and on. So if you look at your wrist and it always has the clue up there, you can turn it off. This is annoying. Instant replay, which is the same as just pressing the B or Y color on your map, but there's just an additional way to do instant replay. And then there's one more thing, Samson, which is quite
a big one.
The CocoVision camera. So they've done this in partnership of Live, which is the makers of like Creator Kits VR in terms of capturing footage. You have CocoVision camera. Now there's a bunch of stuff here. So essentially, one, it's like sometimes the camera's on like a selfie stick, which is basically your putter, and you can take photos of yourself or with the players. You can take photos of the environment, so you can flip the camera. You can take videos as well. You can do it in portrait and landscape mode. You can do it in standard definition or HD. You can put a viewfinder on your wrist, so you can set the camera far away and then look at the viewfinder to make sure that the picture is right or something like that. You can mount the camera to your head. You can mount the camera to some place and then leave it without needing to have it on your putter. So you can lock it and such. You can offset the camera as well, so you can do it over the shoulder or something like that if you wanted to. There's motion smoothing involved as well, so it's smooth pans and pivots when you're flying and such, so it's not janky. Like, there's so much going on in this camera. It's a high-tech camera, and it's only supported on Quest, Rift, and Steam. So Quest and PC VR, essentially. That's still in experimental mode, so it could be a bit buggy. But when I tried it, and it was just with myself, it worked perfectly fine. I tried it just before jumping on the show because I just got support. It's really cool. I feel like this would be a fun thing for multiplayer. And then any videos that you record or save or such, they just get saved to your Quest gallery directly.
Easy peasy.
So there could be some creative looking hole-in-ones with this camera.
Honestly, Dan, I'm not even thinking of golf when I think of all these camera features. Like, now I want to see people make like a TV show in Walkabout. Be like,
let's just go.
Or some sort of like, like some sort of develop your own like plot and lore or whatever. And like you could literally just, like you said, you could set up a camera and then just like come into frame and then have a whole scene and then have other scenes, etc. In such an easier way than you could previously. Like before, you'd need to be like, hey, you. Like when we did the podcast, we had to have like PJ and Kai stand still and film us for an hour.
Yeah, now we can. I'm not sure how long the filming is. I didn't just turn it on and let it go for ages. It might also be based just on how much storage you have, to be honest. Yeah. But you can record with microphone, so you can have the microphone on. And you have all those complex controls that I mentioned, but you can also turn them off. Like when you first get the camera, it's basically take a picture.
Simple.
Take a picture, record a video, flip the camera, that's it. And then there's 3 dots at the bottom, and when you press that, a massive menu opens, and you're like, oh shoot, you could do so much here. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, it's a very hidden feature. They actually didn't announce it until Tuesday, June 24th. So they kind of left that one until just before the launch of the actual course, which is great. And by the way, it's 35th course. I just realized it's in the press release.
Wow.
35th.
35 courses. Dan, that's 31 more courses than when we bought the game.
35 courses, but that's also technically 70 courses if you're counting easy and hard.
Yeah, you're right.
I just did some math duplication.
I think so. In the employee entrance thing, and it was Tourist Trap, and it had the date 9/24, I believe, 2020, which I believe is the day it came out, right?
Potentially, I don't know.
Which is crazy. Like, they're coming on their 6th anniversary. Dan.
Yeah, they're crushing it. Big fans of Mikey Coconut, as we've always said, and I know some of you listen to the show as well. Just kudos, you made a great course again. Obviously, we'll save our thoughts till the end of the year, and we'll discuss this with all the other courses. Elvis was the first course this year, and it feels like ages ago.
Yeah, January feels like a really long time ago for me.
Yeah.
A lot's been happening.
Anyway, that will do for part 2. That is Walkabout. In part 3, we were going to go out with a bang, I was going to say, but we're going to talk about what else we've been playing. And also the game's out this week, so we will see you then.
Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show.
All right, welcome back to part 3 of LTO 192. We've talked about the Xbox and MetaQuest. We've talked about Walkabout. What else have you been playing, Samson? What's been going on? Let's talk about it. I'll let you start. Give me one of your games that you've been playing this week other than Walkabout.
I was just gonna say I got into Walkabout, Dan. You ruined it. Dan, I got back into Demeo Battles. So Demeo Battles has 7 characters, and I finally unlocked the 7th character.
Oh, nice.
What Demeo Battles is it's a multiplayer take on Demeo. Right, so you can either play multiplayer or you can play single player. There is like pretty extensive single player campaign type of deal. Think of small Demeo boards, and then you select your monsters and your cards. Like you have a allotted amount of money that you can spend on either. Then you place them, and then you begin your little 2-on-2. And at level 20, you unlock the Barbarian, and I finally hit level 20, Dan. So now I have to do it on Steam and PlayStation VR2 next. And on Steam, I'm a little, probably halfway there at least, but PlayStation, I haven't played Demeo Battles at all.
Fair.
Overall, very, very fun game. I played for hours while the kid was watching Minecraft movie and then some Minion movie. And I just had, mixed reality on. I had my Demeo board, and
that's really
I could see the TV and hanging out on the couch. It felt like I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And the game is addicting as all hell, and it really, especially because I was trying to get to level 20, it was very much like, all right, just one more. But even after I hit 20, Dan, I played one more.
It's addictive. It's a great bite-sized chunk of a game because 20 minutes or so?
15 to 20 minutes.
15 minutes to 20 minutes.
It could go a little longer if you're spend a little bit of time in the fire, I imagine.
Yeah. And because it's just those kind of bite size, you can play it for hours, to be honest. It's one of those things, right? I've been playing a lot of Hades recently of Steam Deck, and it's kind of the same thing where you go for a run and maybe you're in the run for 10 minutes or so, and then you die, and then you're like, oh, okay, let's do it again. Let's try it again. And then you just keep going and keep going. So, it's a fun gameplay loop for sure. Very good.
You want to go down?
Yeah. Well, I only played one other game. That's the...
What game did you play, Dan?
I don't know. What do you think that was? VRacer Hoverbike was what I played. This game, actually, we spoke about it. Game's out this week. A couple of weeks ago, it got delayed last minute for a couple of weeks, and it finally come out. And we got a code for it as well. So thanks to the developers. This game is surprisingly really fun, to be honest. It's amazing how this game doesn't make me motion sick because it can get very fast. But they've done something in terms of so essentially it's kind of like a motorcycle game, but it's hover bikes and there's a bit more futuristic elements to it.
Like Jet Moto bikes, right? That's kind of what they've...
Yeah, and there's Mario Kart mode and such with weapons and such. You can. Wow. There's different types of races, but we'll talk about that in a second. But essentially, you got to play the seated. If you stand, then you're too tall for the bike. You're seated, and you lean forward, and essentially, once your hands are in the right position, you can go and use the trigger button. And when you're driving, your where your helmet would be. There's these what would you call it? There's some outlines on your helmet, really subtle, but I think that is there to reduce motion sickness. And I never got one part of motion sickness. I did 6 races in this as my impressions here, and I was going really fast.
How long is
each
race?
Maybe 8 races or so. How long is each race? Maybe 3 minutes a race, 4 minutes a race. Depending. I actually did probably more than that. I did 6 today, so I probably did a few on the weekend as well, but it took a little bit to get used to. So essentially, once you're in position, use the trigger button to obviously go, left triggers to brake, and you use your chest to kind of steer. So you want to, you move your chest right, you move your chest left, and you kind of lean. You're leaning essentially, and you can technically achieve the same thing by moving your head, but you're going to get really tired really quickly, and it's going to hurt your neck. So you use your chest, and you can get really deep and such with the lean, and you can also use the controllers as like motion controllers. So if you lean, like let's say you're leaning right, but your motion controllers are going left, you can like counteract that steer a little bit, so you're not going too much. There's no crashes in this. Like if you hit the side, you're just gonna lose time, but it's not like VRacer where you're just gonna go flying and such, which is kind of nice in a way. And there's many different game modes, so it basically forces you straight into the career mode first, and that's how you level up. And once you level up, you can unlock quick race, multiplayer, and then there's one other type of multiplayer which I forget. I forget what it's called, but I didn't actually unlock that. I didn't get that far. And so in the race mode, in the career mode, there's different kind of maps. And the first one's really cool because there's like 5 different races, and each one of those is showcasing a different type of mode. So the first one's like your standard race. You're against 6 of the hoverbikes, and you want to finish in the top 3 essentially. If you don't, you kind of have to replay it. The second one was a Mario Kart style, so it's like has weapons and such. So there's not many.
Do you spin out?
Not really, no. You kind of just get slow, like down, kind of go into flames for a second. I found that one really difficult. So the weapons are, you have like rockets. The other one you have bombs, and the other one you have a shield.
So they're all like button presses.
They're just pressing the A button, yeah, and such. And yeah, I found that one really difficult, to be honest. Ain't no Mario Kart where you can throw a shell and it will get there eventually or anything like that, right? But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I don't think it was needed, but it was nice that was there. The next one was a time trial, and the courses are different every time, and the courses are kind of getting more and more futuristic. So in this course, you do a full-on loop, like a full-on loop round. And the fact that I didn't get motion sick doing that, because I did it 3 times going around that lap. Actually, I did it 6 times because I failed the mission, so I had to do it again. And you have to hit it a certain time. And then there's another one where it's like a race against. You gotta get to basically you gotta finish the race, but you're getting kind of chased by something. I can't really describe it.
Kind of like music mode in GT7 or something.
Yeah,
you have to hit checkpoints or something.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So you have that as well. So you have like a different races from different types of games in a way. But it's cool. It works well. There's a little bit of lagginess on the quests, like when you are going really fast, and there's also 5 other bikes next to you, it does start to like lag, and you can see the drop frames big time. It's not mostly on corners for some reason when you're turning and there's corners. Maybe it's the way that it's rendering and such. But yeah, it does drop frames, but it's nothing game breaking. The graphics are decent. It's not. What's the other game? Is it VRacer as well?
Yeah, something like that. But they don't hover. Those are just VRacer normal bike.
Right. What's it called? SBV Racer?
No, it's not VRacer. It's something. It's like,
I forget what it's called now, Samson. It's not VRacer. It's the other one. It's the other motorcycle game. The SBK one. But that one looks better. I would say it probably feels a little bit better because you're like actual motorcycles, and that one has like really great sound. It's called V-Rider. So VRacer, V-Rider. Yeah, nice naming VRacer with that one. But it feels like it's for the same people and such. But yeah, it's a little bit more, I would say, less polished than V-Rider. I think that was a more polished kind of version. But this one's a little bit different, and it's just more on the futuristic side, and it has the more. It
reminds me of Wipeout. Wipeout with Jet Moto type of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's going for sure. So yeah, decent game. If you're into the kind of bikes, I'd pick it up. Yeah, Samson, you have access to it. I had fun with it. I had a good time with it.
I want to play this one on the PlayStation. I mean, it's a game you can really see it anyway.
Yeah, I think it's going to look a little bit better than that. I did play standing up once, and the bike's right below me, and it's so hard to turn. It's quite funny. It just feels like I'm standing on the bike whilst riding. It's kind of funny.
If you're like a Like at a circus or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was doing tricks. So yeah, decent game overall. I think it's around $27 USD. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of customizations as well. So you can customize your like bike, you can customize your character, but you can also like paint it and such. So you can actually go. There's so many options, and you go into mixed reality. And you can have your helmet in your room, and you got this like spray paint gun, and you can spray it and such. So there's all sorts of that stuff that you can do as well, which is fun. But yeah, that's VRacer, $26, $27, $25 around that point USD. If you're into that, go pick it up. This might be a really good sale game, to be honest. But yeah, that's all I've got. What else do you got going on?
Well, Dan, I played some Iron Rebellion last week, and I want to say they got some new mech interiors, like a new, so small, medium, heavy classes all have different interiors. And I was watching friend of the show Noble Squashy's YouTube video on it.
I was watching it too.
And the small quick mechs, which are my favorite, have like all glass, and you can kind of see everywhere.
Yeah,
very, very good vision, and I cannot wait to hop back in there and to play.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout out.
I watched his beginner's guide.
Yeah.
Not that I'm playing that game whatsoever, but I just wanted to see what it was about. I was like, just watch his little beginner's guide. Shout out Noble Squashy.
It's a good one. And then Dan, I spent a lot of time in the. All right, are we calling it DAZN or is it DAZN?
It's the Zone.
The Zone. My God damn,
that took me 5 years to realize, like, because the Zone was big in Canada because it had the Premier League. Now it doesn't have that anymore, but it does have Champions League, and I didn't know it for ages. And then I was like, oh, it's called the Zone.
The Zone. Well, Dan, I've watched more soccer in the Zone than I've years, like since like 2017. This is game changing way to watch sports. So what it is there's a big screen, normal TV with the broadcast,
right?
And you can expand it out and you can move that around. Then I have the stats next to that, like for the team stats, shots on goal, time of possession, etc. Then there's a 3D field in front of you that you can't scale, but you can move up and down and move it that way. And so what I did was I put this field up to my chest. So I'm kind of like standing over midfield. And then I have the big TV right up, pretty much up against the field. But I'm mostly just watching the 3D avatars play on this field. And there's no ref, there's no ref rendered. But they mostly work very, very well. There's some jank that is hilarious, and I hope they never fix the jank that exists. But there is some jank, like when they go to make a wall, when there's players bunched up. So when they're going to complain to the ref or something, you'll just see them like make weird, funky like arm movements, or when they go out of bounds to get the ball to make a throw in. The ball has a sort of a line that follows it, sort of so you can easily follow where the ball is. And then from each player that has a ball, there's a lot of times a line or multiple lines going out to sort of show distance, if you will, to how far the most likely passes, like the closest passes would be.
Yeah.
And you just get such a sense. Soccer is such a game of space, right? So while watching this way, you get a sense of, oh, they should move the ball over this way. Like you could see where the open guy is that should be getting the ball for them to move it, that you just do not get when you're watching this on TV or playing in even like a video game. You just get such a sense of the entire field, where the openings are. And I just can't overstate how great it feels to watch this way. And sure, the players don't look like exactly like how they look, but they do look pretty good. They it's pretty good. There was one good time where I looked up at the broadcast. I was like, oh, that guy is not the race I thought he was based on his avatar there. But outside that one, mostly it's pretty good.
Nice.
It's a damn shame, Dan, that we don't have this for every other sport and that we only have this in the Zone app. Like, seriously, if they had this for hockey, you could follow hockey so much better. You could get a sense of the speed because you'd be actually seeing them
I think it'd be wicked in hockey. Yeah.
Also, like in a video game, they'd have the player name show up like when they get near the ball or have the ball, so that's also helps.
That's cool.
It is the way to watch soccer, and I'm gonna keep watching more. I know this is
there's only 2 weeks left, so you might as well watch the rest of the tournament.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. There's like this whole week. There's games I think every day.
Yeah.
But then it starts getting into the group stages and all that.
Spread out and such, yeah.
But I hope they bring us more stuff. It's so cool.
That's great.
I can't say how much I want the only game I couldn't see that really being great for is baseball. But everything else, like football, hockey, basketball, perfect.
I agree. Yeah, there's no need for baseball, to be honest. It'd be cool to have like the MLB app with the stats and such, and maybe there is a 3D representation where like if someone hits a home run, you can rewatch the home run as a 3D representation, which would be cool.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe watching a little mini guy pitch and like the little ball go, like maybe that would be kind of cool. Yeah. I'd want to reach out and try and catch a home run type of deal. But
it'd be so cool actually with the baseball if it was just zoomed in to like the pitcher and home plate and all you see is that and you don't see anything else. But then you can see when the pitcher throws, you can see like the curvature or the different like how the ball moves and such. That'll be actually really cool to see. I mean, I was, to me, I was looking at the Zone app and I'm like, I don't really understand it too much for the soccer, but look at you, you're loving it.
Yeah, by the way, it's DAZN.
Yeah.
DAZN. Yeah. The Zone.
The Zone, yeah. I think they've got the rights for the World Cup, the proper one next year as well. They paid like FIFA $1 billion or something.
I did some research. No, I think they paid $1 billion for the rights to this tournament.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, Jesus insane, Christ. Right? And they're just hoping that it brings attention. So here I am bringing attention to it and using it. Yeah, Dan. What they've done is they bought up boatloads of broadcasting rights for random sports. So like I think they have the broadcasting rights to American football in like Asia and Europe
and Canada.
So you can watch American football in the Zone app.
Yeah. I've since when I moved to Canada, I had the Zone from day one.
And they just have them all.
Yeah, they have every game, Red Zone. And no, it's not free. No, it's like a monthly subscription, but it's not too expensive. But then you get that. You get, you used to get Premier League, Champions League, and a bunch of other sports. Not everything, but like most of the stuff. But the NFL was the biggest draw because you could watch Red Zone or just any random game you want. And you could also like pin 4 games or 6 games at a time as well.
Oh, yeah, you could for the soccer, you could have 2 feeds. One of the games I saw, the Skycam was an option too. So you could have 2. It was
even
incredible.
If people aren't into soccer, you should just try this out because it's free and just see what it's like.
If you don't like the sport, you're not going to like the sport. But if you have like kind of essentially kind of into it, like it does, like Brew Monkey said, it was like kind of a unique way to.
He watched the penalty like that, right, and such, because there was a penalty in the last second for one of the games you're watching, right? So very cool, very very cool. That's great to hear. All right, anything else you've been playing?
I got into my Breachers match on Friday night. That was a great time. And I beat Pow Pow's score in a couple songs in Trombone Champ.
Nice. Very, very good. All right, less games out this week. We've got 2 games. Samson, I'll start since you were talking quite a bit there. We've got Cave Crave. It's Cave Crave. It's 10
yum.
It's 10 USD. Step into the underground world of caves in the most realistic VR spelunking game where the entire environment is your map, just waiting to be discovered. Now you got some ChatGPT prompts coming up. Beat environmental challenges, steep climbs, narrow tunnels, and water. Mark your own clues on cave walls with chalk. Clear your path of obstacles with a hammer. Climb walls and ceilings using ice axes. Maintain your gear to ensure reliability and no cheap horror tricks, just a mysterious, immersive cave atmosphere. I actually like that it just said that at the end, because looking at the trailer and looking at the screenshots, it looks very eerie and very scary.
Like Pool's game, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's very dark and such, but I'm glad they've said that, because that it says mild fantasy violence and that's it. But yeah, it's 10 USD, roughly 10 USD, and that's pretty much it, to be honest.
I guess if you have a cave craving, you can play that. Well, yeah. Dan, there's Neolithic Dawn.
Gone.
Neolithic Dawn's coming to early access. It didn't have a price, but according to sources, it's coming out this week. Welcome to Neolithic Dawn, the ultimate VR survival experience. Step into the shoes of a Neolithic hunter-gatherer and struggle to survive in a harsh and unforgiving world. Discover an ancient Ice Age civilization, craft physics-based tools and weapons, hunt wild animals for food, and tame Ice Age creatures to help you survive on your journey. If you die in Neolithic Dawn, you come back as your son or daughter, a generation later, to a version of the world that has been permanently altered by time.
What?
Experience a real-time day and night cycle, dynamic seasons, and generational changes as you explore 5 large open-world maps, each with its own unique dungeon to explore. Neolithic Dawn is built by a small team with a big dream. By launching in early access, we hope to finish building the game alongside the community so we can build the greatest VR survival game together. Sounds pretty cool, Dan.
So when you die, you're reborn as your son?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Wow. I'm curious just to see what that's like, to be honest. Jesus Christ.
Gotta do the tutorial again. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to learn to walk again. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, it does look, obviously it's early access, but in terms of the screenshots and such, it does look really cool. I'm not really into these survival games. I'm not really into that kind of stuff, but it is co-op, and if you are, then definitely check this one out. You know that Smurfs game that we talked about last week, by the way? High reviews. Yeah, the reviews are really well done, and the Upload VR gave it good reviews too, which is kind of fun to see as well. Samson, there we have it. That's our show for today.
We did it. Nice job.
We did it. We talked about some potential Xbox. We talked about some crystals, and then we talked about some hoverbikes and some DAZN as well. That is our show for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. As always, the Discord is the links below. Support us at Patreon if you want to throw us $1. And that's everything. I've been Dan. I'm about to say I've been Samson, but I've not.
No. That's me.
That's you. He's been Samson.
Ta-ta.
And we'll see you next week.